like I said, I'm 33. I'm still learning things about my childhood that's kind of affecting how I move these days. But a book that I read recently was called No More Mr. Nice Guy. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Have I talked to you about that?
You haven't talked to me.
Okay. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy. It's by Robert Glover. And it's basically talking about how
he's not the subtle art of giving the fuck.
No, that's Mark Manson.
Cool. Okay.
But I think Mark Manson, I think, referenced Robert Glover in that book.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Because I think that's how I got put onto it.
Okay.
But either way, I was reading that joint. Literally, I probably read it for the first time like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And one of the things that it kind of showed me was that there's things that we just, not even just things that we do, but it's the way that we see the world is kind of based on what worked for us and didn't work for us as kids. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I've ever talked about this like on air, but there was like when I was young, my parents were together, but my dad lived in Nigeria and my mom lived here, and she kind of raised us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. My sisters raised me as well. Like my mom was like the one kind of taking care of us financially, but she was at work all the time. You know what I'm saying? So my sisters were really the ones that were like raising me and my younger brother. Right. But that book kind of goes into how like the way in which we're raised and the things that work for us as kids, like as far as like getting our needs met and getting like, you know, positive reinforcement or whatever, like the things that work for us as children is kind of how we think the world works when we go on, like, and when we get older. Right. You know what I'm saying? So something he says is like, when you're young, you treat your family, or like, you know what I'm saying, your only dynamic is really your family dynamic. And then as you get older, you think the world is like your family. You know what I'm saying? So you know, something that was pretty prominent in my crib was, you know, my mom was always working, and it was kind of like she took care of me financially, but like I kind of had to take care of her when she wasn't at work. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like I understood that she works hard, so when she's home, we got to kind of, you know, like don't be noisy so she can get some rest. And like, you know what I'm saying? She might make us food, but it's like, put your shit away. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like a mother-son relationship. It was more of like a partner relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I would drive her to work sometimes, like, and then I would pick her up from work sometimes. And like, I would listen to her talk about like problems because my dad wasn't like there. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad was a phone call away, but like, you know, if something came up right there, I might have to help her with it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of created this dynamic that was just, I'll say, interesting. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that leads to, you know, how I look at life. And when I look inside myself, as far as like, oh, like how I guess relationships go or how certain social dynamics go, I'm like, I see exactly where that's coming from. And I'm telling you, like, I'm in my 30s, like realizing this. You know what I'm saying? So I went all through my 20s just like doing shit, not realizing this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was a step in me being like, you know, I'm not finna just blame her for like, you know what I'm saying? She did what she had to do, and she did the best that she could with the knowledge that she had. She wasn't trying to turn me into anything. You know what I'm saying? She was just trying to get through life. You know?
Early.